Welcome back to another market open video. Today, Bitcoin is opening up a little bit down, around $83,000, just slightly down from yesterday. And that's because we have more tariff threats, retaliation tariffs. We have more of it, and it's scaring the markets a little bit further. That's why Bitcoin is down slightly to 82.6. Although Ripple is up, you can see Ripple is actually going up back to 232, and I have some good news about that. But Bitcoin is under a little bit of a sell pressure right now because of the tariff threats. And what is it? Well, it's this. So the EU, yesterday I covered how the EU wants to retaliate against the tariffs placed on aluminum and steel, the 25% tariff that Trump has announced. And I guess one of the things that the EU decided to retaliate against was American whiskey. Okay, and they placed a 50% tariff on whiskey. And then Trump did not like that. And now he's threatening, he's giving them 24 hours to remove it, or he's going to put 200% tariff on French champagne and other alcohol from the EU. Right? So Trump is like, don't test me. Don't test us. If you're going to do this, we're going to fight back harder. Right? So, I mean, this is the situation we're in. We got countries that are beating their chest right now. They are throwing tariffs left and right. Is this the right course? You know, I mean, this is how you lead to real tariff wars, right? Trump is banking on the fact that all these other countries are going to give up. They're not going to want to mess with the U.S. because our purchasing power is the greatest of the world, and everyone wants to sell to the U.S. So Trump is banking on that and banking on the fact that all these tariff wars will end soon. But, you know, we'll have to see. In the meantime, markets do not like it. Markets are selling off and speculating on the companies that will be hurt the most and industries that will be hurt the most. And, you know, this might escalate further to other goods besides just, you know, alcohol in this case, right? So we'll see. We'll see. Oh, and by the way, a quick correction. Yesterday, you know, I made a video about speculating about why Trump wants to do all the tariffs. I mean, I know the logical reasons is to bring jobs and manufacturing back to the U.S. I get that. But, you know, I also stated that maybe it was to disrupt the markets and bring rates down, right? So that, hey, when we have to borrow more money, we could borrow at cheaper if the rates are down, right? It's a way to force Fed Chair Powell to lower the rates if the economy is not doing so well and the markets are crashing. I did show an article saying $7 trillion last night in the next 12 months. That was actually an old article from 2024 going to 2025. Actually, going from 2025 to 2026, it's more like 9 to 10 trillion. So that number has gone up even more. Okay. And yeah, so it's not a really good situation. Our deficit keeps going up. Our debt keeps going up, which makes us need to borrow more money. And we have to issue more bonds, right? And it is in our best interest to keep the interest rate low, because if we have to borrow more money at a higher interest, that's going to put us more into debt, right? So none of this is good. None of it is good at all. This is why we have Bitcoin, guys. This is why we have Bitcoin. Today, we also got another inflation reading, PPI, that actually was flat. Didn't show that inflation went up, which is good. Yesterday, we also had CPI inflation that showed that inflation of goods went down, ticked down a little bit. That's good. We need that because, again, in order for Powell to cut the Fed fund rate, and bring other rates down, we need to see inflation stop and come down, right? It makes you wonder if these inflation readings, which analysts anticipated these inflation readings to tick up, and somehow they start ticking downwards. It makes you wonder if they're being manipulated to fit this whole narrative of, okay, we got to cut rates, so let's make sure the inflation numbers don't go up, and let's bring the stock market down so that we could get lower rates. I don't know. I hate to think that's the case, but you know what? Who knows? Who knows? We also have this ceasefire talks with Russia. Supposedly, U.S. officials are heading over there to see if we can negotiate a ceasefire, and maybe first time in years we'll have one, and this could lead to the war being stopped, right? And that would be very positive. But as of right now, all the tariff stuff is still not looking so good. Yesterday, the U.S. market was okay. Yesterday, U.S. market, especially tech, had a rally because, honestly, I think Wall Street just thought that everything was too oversold, right? But today, right now, everything's in the red. It could flip into the green once again. It's kind of like mixed. People are trying to digest this new threat war that's going on, and inflation data that somehow came in lower than expected, which is a good thing. But you know, we'll see how Wall Street reacts. The ceasefire talk is definitely positive, but like I've been saying, all this, right, really proves how important Bitcoin is. Okay, because all the shenanigans about debt and borrowing and all this stuff, all the problems that we're going through, right, that Trump and Elon and others are trying to solve, and previous administrations, I don't know if they were trying to solve it, but you know what? It's going to be ongoing for a long, 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 long time. And I don't think it's ever going to stop because the system was created like this, and it's just a system built on a house of cards. It's a system created where you just don't pay back the money. You keep borrowing money, and then you keep printing money as well, which is why we have this ever-going inflation. And that's why it sucks in the long run. And that's why Bitcoin was created. And that's why, you know what, Bitcoin is still the one to hold when you have a lot of shenanigans going on, right? And let's not forget all the times, all the recessions, and all the times where banks were about to collapse. You know, the cornerstones of our countries, right? They were about to collapse without the help of the government or the Fed. So you figure some of these banks that's been around for hundreds of years, they must know what they're doing, right, Mo? Greed always takes over. And back in 2008, if it wasn't for the bailouts, all the banks, all the financial institutions, not just the U.S., around the world, they would have all collapsed. We would have went back into the Stone Age if governments didn't step in. And we had that happen in 2022 as well. A lot of major banks were going under, and we had to, or the Fed had to step in. This is why Bitcoin was created, to go against all the shenanigans. Now, we are extremely fearful, okay? We're going through one of those fearful times. But we saw fearful times before too. During the COVID crash, when Bitcoin was at $4,000. And in 2022 when, you know, Bitcoin was at $20,000. Obviously, we're not nearly as dire as those times, right? But yeah, we are in a fearful situation right now. And it kind of sucks. But you know what? The seller exhaustion is lightening up. And at some point, it's going to stop. There's only so many retail investors that will sell, right? Wall Street, same thing. Even though they have a ton of ETFs, it's at some point, those lettuce hands at Wall Street will stop too. And they will realize, well, this is a bargain now. just like these relief rallies with stocks, we will see it with Bitcoin as well. So once the lettuce hands are gone, well, then we'll find a bottom, we'll rally back up again. And there's many good things that show that Bitcoin is going to turn around. DXY has been falling. This is one of the reasons why, this is one of the repercussions, I guess, which is good. With all the uncertainty of the market crashes and everything, the dollar strength, the dollar's going down. That's actually a good thing. And usually when DXY crashes or goes down, that helps assets like Bitcoin. Okay, so that's good. And also, if you're looking at this chart, this shows the USDT dominance. And whatever USDT dominance kind of like hits this trend line and goes down, that's good for Bitcoin. So there are many good things from a technical standpoint that shows that Bitcoin is ready to turn around. But we know fundamentally Bitcoin is strong as ever. This is right now we're going through one of those scary times that Wall Street is leading the way. The macro environment is holding us back, but it's temporary. It's just short term. Okay, we will get through it. We will get through it, so stay strong. And lastly, I mentioned about Ripple going upwards, and it's because of this. Ripple becomes the first blockchain to acquire Dubai regulatory approval for cross-border payment. This is pretty big, and Ripple's lawsuit is going to be dismissed soon, right? Any day now. So both of these things, Ripple, XRP, they're making strides, and soon, it's rumored before June or July, they're going to get their ETF as well. So that's why XRP is actually going upward. Look at it. It's still going upwards. 234, maybe heading back to 250 soon. Very positive for XRP. And Bitcoin, we'll see what happens. Market bell is about to open, and we'll see how Wall Street reacts today. All right, guys, I'm going to keep this nice and short once again. Stay strong, my friends. We got a lot of scary stuff that's still ongoing, I know, but we will get through it. Bitcoin will get through it. So stay strong and stay focused. I'll see you guys later. All right, bye-bye.